you would like to start in fish pose, you are welcome to set your blocks up either similarly or slightly lower. No blocks whatsoever is also a possibility. So choose whatever suits you today, and you can move them if it just becomes uncomfortable, all right? So let's get started in our fish pose, or somewhat of a lying shavasana, with one block under the lower back. I've already had a crick. And the other one firmly planted on the earth to be underneath the head and supported. We don't want it to shift on us as we're melting into the pose. Ensuring there's no wobble of blocks. And seeing how long we might be able to stay in this chest and heart opening pose. Maintaining a steady rhythm of breath. And noticing how the sensations in our bodies might change with each breath as each moment passes by. Finding a steady rhythm of breath in and out through the nose. Finding gentle expressions on our faces. And slowly bringing awareness to our physical sensations, running through a body scan from head to toe. Gently noting all the sensations along the way, areas of heaviness, lightness, comfort, or discomfort. Noticing the beating of our heart as we go through our chest. Noticing sensations in the lower back as we start to create space in the spine. Option to leave the legs running long, or bringing the bottoms of the feet together and butterflying our legs. Noticing the rhythm of our heartbeat and the rhythm of our breath. Taking a moment to set an intention for today's practice. Even something similar to maintaining presence and curiosity. Or perhaps something a little bit more directed at what you might be dealing with in the coming hours and weeks. Something that we might be able to chew on through our practice to let the body integrate and release. Option to remove the blocks, allowing our spine to come down to the earth, settling into the mat. Taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and sighing out through the mouth. Setting ourselves up for our asana practice. One more just like that. And all of us down flat on the mat. We'll hug our left knee into our chest. Noticing the contact our body makes on the earth, the back of our head, the shoulder blades, the lower back and hips, and the right leg running down the mat. Gentle expressions on our faces, and a gentle awareness of what's happening in the left hip, and perhaps even the lower back. Releasing the left leg down to the earth, and we'll replace it with the right, hugging the right knee into the chest. Slow, gentle transition. And again, we bring our awareness to the physical sensations, the contact of our body, and the yummy sensations in our right hip. Perhaps even noticing our abdomen start to talk to us as we start to churn the waters within. Releasing the right leg back to the earth, and once again we'll hug the left leg in. We're going to roll over onto our right hip and right shoulder, bringing our left knee across the body. Extending our arms wide from our shoulders. Palms are open. Deep breaths in. Then on each exhalation, we're going to close the hands, palms together. On the inhale, we'll open our arms back up. Closing, bringing the palms together, stacking the shoulders. Inhaling, opening up. Slowly starting to warm the spine. Releasing synovial fluid. And bringing our awareness to the sensations of being closed and being open. Let's do 3 more. Inhaling with smiles on our faces, we open our chest. Exhaling, we close up like little balls, protecting ourselves. Last one here. And we'll inhale, opening ourselves back up, holding here for a few breaths. Breathing light and warmth into any areas of discomfort we might be feeling. Knowing we won't be here forever. So whatever discomfort, physically, emotionally, or mentally we might be dealing with, we dig into our breath and our resilience. And slowly we can shift our hips and our legs back to the earth, bringing our arms back to center. Shifting our hips on the mat if they floated over to the edge, and we'll give ourselves a big Upasana hug. Maybe shifting, rocking left to right to massage the lower back, bringing energy towards the area, bringing our awareness there. before we do the other side. Perhaps even noticing already a difference in the energy between the left and the right side. Let's see if we can bring that magical warmth. Release some energy over on the right, just as we did on the left. Good. So bringing our left leg down along the mat, we hug the right knee back in. And slowly, we'll bring the left knee across the body. We open the arms, finding our shoulder blades on the earth. Big breaths in. And with each exhale, we bring our palms together over to the left, stacking the shoulders. Inhaling, we open back up. Drawing light into our chests. Exhale, stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders, bringing the palms together. Perhaps we're noticing a pause at the bottom and the top of our breaths. Perhaps we're noticing different sensations. Different degrees of openness and energy. We'll do 3 more. Next inhalation, we open back up, spreading our arms wide. Noticing any yummy sensations down the spine, across our lower backs, perhaps down the right leg, and across our wingspan, across the chest, between the fingertips. Slowly bringing ourselves back to center, bringing our right knee back across, shifting our hips as needed, and hugging the knees back into our chest. Rocking or finding stillness, perhaps now bringing awareness to a change of sensations, just witnessing how sensations across our lower back may have changed, perhaps even a gentle opening of our chest and heart. Perhaps a calming of our mind as we've brought our awareness to the physical sensations and our breath. Now we're slowly going to roll ourselves over and come into kneeling pose. Bringing our shins underneath us. We'll start with flat feet pressed into the earth underneath our hips. We have our blocks, if that would be more comfortable, depending on what our knees are telling us today. Rolling our shoulders up and back, tall torsos, finding length between the tailbone and the crown of the head. Palms are on our upper thighs. And with our inhalation, we'll draw the shoulder blades in and back, opening our chest, cat-cow, arching the lower back, and finding a gentle flow. Exhaling, the shoulders come forward, Our chin comes to our chest. Inhale, we open. Exhale, we float back, letting our arms flow forward and our chins lower. Whatever range of motion feels good as we continue to open the spine. Releasing energy, creating a little bit more fluidity as we go. Noticing the opening and the space we're creating between the vertebrae. Three more. Drawing our chest through. Inhale, using our hands on our knees as leverage. Rounding back forward, pressing into the spine. Two more. And on the next inhale, we all come back to center, rolling the shoulders up and back. Once again, finding length in our torso. We'll inhale, bringing our hands over our shoulders. Exhale, to the left, we rotate. Bringing one hand to our knee, the other hand to the earth, up on the fingertips, gazing over our shoulder. Calm, steady rhythm of breath and a gentle awareness of any areas of discomfort or openness. Three more breaths here. And we'll inhale, coming back to center, reaching our arms back up over our shoulders. Big breath in. And exhaling over to the other side, we rotate up on the fingertips, gazing over the shoulder. Noticing sensations down our neck, into the shoulder, down the right arm. And breathing light and warmth into the spine. Calm, steady rhythm of breath. And on the next inhalation, we bring our arms back over our shoulders, centering ourselves, reaching up big. Exhaling, we extend forward. Child's pose, reaching our hands long on the mat. Finding our block to support our forehead as needed. Being aware of any distractions that might enter our minds. And letting them float by like clouds in a blue sky afternoon. One more big breath here. Noticing the rising and falling sensation of our ribs. And then on the next inhale, we draw ourselves up into all fours. Slowly shifting ourselves into position, shifting the weight left and right, letting our heads hang heavy. Noticing the lateral flexion, moving the energy through that often gets stuck in the lower back and the upper back. Changing our patterns of movement to keep the energy flowing. And an option here to find a circular movement, bringing the hips back towards the heels, rounding to the side, over the hands, rounding through the other. Trying to keep that lateral flexion so that we continue to move the energy. Listening to our body and moving as intuitively as possible. Bringing our awareness to our breath, in and out through the nose. One more in this direction. And finishing that breath, we switch directions in our own time, finding a new pattern and a new pace on this side, exploring and being curious as to how our bodies move, perhaps what our bodies are holding on to. Two more big breaths in this direction. And we all come back to center when we get there. Deep breath in between. And we'll step up into a down dog, curling our toes under our shins. Deep breaths in. And on the exhale, we lift our hips and we lower our head between our arms. Yummy. Slowly melting into the pose, finding grounding of our hands through the mat, pressing the earth away. Noticing the energy up the arms, down the neck, down the spine, through the hips and down the backs of the legs. Pressing our weight through the heels. And on the inhale, we're going to bend our knees, lifting our heels off the earth, coming onto our toes, crunching into a little ball. Extended child's pose. Exhale, we straighten the legs back up, pressing the knees back. Inhale, we crunch the knees in towards our chest. Exhale, we press back up, noticing the strength of our upper body and the lightness of our heads and necks. Crunching and opening. Moving the energy, bringing awareness to any areas of tension, noticing how they transform. Beautiful, 3 more. Feeling the length we're creating in the back body. Digging into our Ujjayi breath. Last one. Holding here in our down dog. Wiggling out the feet, maybe lifting one at a time or crunching the toes into the mat. Good. And we're going to lift our left leg off the earth. Keeping our heads hanging heavy. Pressing our weight through the right leg and heel. Gazing forward. Coming up on the toes of the right foot. Stepping through crescent lunge. Staying up on the toes, finding stability. Staying here, keeping our hands pressed into the earth, maybe onto the fingertips. Maybe we grab our blocks. Good, staying here. Drawing the chest through, gazing forward. And on the exhale, we're going to lift our left toes off the earth and press back into the right heel, straightening the front leg, pyramid pose. Inhale back to our lunge. Exhale, we float back, straightening the front leg. Inhale forward, onto the toes of the right foot. Exhale, pressing back to the right heel, lifting the front toes. And let's repeat this. Inhaling to our lunge, exhaling to our pyramid. Yummy. Moving the energy through the back of the left leg, the back of the right calf muscle. Trying to keep a flat back. We're not curling into the spine. And the torso is somewhat parallel to the floor as possible. We have 2 more. Good. Holding in our pyramid pose. Keeping those left toes off the earth. Feeling all the yummy sensations down the left leg. Maybe even connected into the lower back. For 3. For 2. And last big breath. Inhaling back to our lunge. Finding our stability up on the toes of the right foot. Inhale, reaching our arms up, crescent lunge. Finding length in the sides of the body. Good. Coming into a rotation, bringing the arms parallel. We rotate over the left leg. Gazing back over the fingertips and the arm of the left hand. And we come into a reverse crescent lunge, reaching the right arm up, reaching the left arm down. Opening into the right side of the body, finding that pattern of energy from the fingertips, through the arm, down the side of the body, perhaps even into the lower back. Breathing into it. Beautiful. Let's windmill our hands all the way to the earth. Right hand comes to the inside. Left hand reaches up. Let's stay high to start. Checking in with what's happening in the left glute and the lower back. Reaching the fingertips on both hands. Checking in with our chest. Is it open? Can we hold this pose with an open heart? Good. Lowering our right knee to the earth. Maintaining our big wingspan. Open hearts, floating forward so that we're starting to open our hip flexor of the right leg. Are we open? Beautiful. Holding here, flattening the back foot. And let's reach the left arm back parallel to the floor. Holding open here. How high can we get our chest to the sky? Noticing an opening in our hip flexor. Checking in with the left hip and the left knee. An option here to grab onto our left foot if we can continue to hold an open heart. There is no competition or judgment, just openness. Keeping that chest lifted high. Breathing light and gratitude into our hearts. Two more big breaths. And we release out of that, bringing our hands back to the earth. And we'll step back into a down dog through our all fours, rinsing out along the way as needed. And stepping into our down dog, rinsing it out, pedaling the feet. We will meet up in a child's pose in 3 breaths. Coming off of our hands, giving ourselves a gentle reset. And checking in with a change of sensations in the body. Coming into our child's pose, if we haven't already done that, wide knees as an option, toes are together. And we can bring our hands behind our back, bringing our block under our forehead as needed. And rinse out the wrists. Two more breaths here. And on the next inhale, we'll draw ourselves back into all fours. Readjusting the knees, bringing them under the hips, the hands under the shoulders and chest. Curling the toes under our shins, deep breaths in. And on the exhale, we lift our hips and we hang our heads heavy. Lifting our right legs off the earth. Pressing our weight into the left hand and the left foot. Checking in with the left leg. And gazing forward, we come up on the toes of the left foot. We step through into our crescent lunge. Keeping our hands on the earth, finding our blocks as needed. Stability here of our legs. Inhale, we draw our chest forward. Torso is parallel to the floor. Exhale, we press back into our left heel, lifting the toes of the right foot. Inhale, we float back to our lunge. Exhale, we press back, pyramid pose. Finding our flow. Enjoying the yummy sensations. Breathing through any areas of tension. Seeing if we can keep our torso parallel to the earth on the inhale lunge. up on the toes of our left foot. Exhale, pressing that left heel back to the earth, straightening both legs. Yummy. Let's do 2 more. And we inhale to our lunge, finding our stability, coming back up on the toes of the left foot, finding the stability, and then lifting our arms, crescent lunge, reaching tall. Checking in, we can see our toes beyond our knee. Now we rotate over the right leg. Arms come parallel to the floor, reaching back. Tall torsos, we're not hinging just yet. We come into a reverse crescent lunge, bringing our left hand up, our right hand down. Checking in with a pattern of energy from the left fingertips, down the side body and into the lower back. Breathing away any areas of blocked energy. Holding our lunge as best as possible. Calm, steady rhythm of breath. And we'll inhale back to center, windmilling our hands. Left hand comes to the earth. Right hand reaches all the way up. We stay high to start. Checking in with our right glute and hip. Big reach. Noticing the opening of our arms across the chest. Bringing light and energy. And we lower our left knee, keeping our right hand in the air, flattening our back foot, and we sink slowly forward, opening into the left hip flexor. Beautiful. Holding here with an option to reach our right arm along the mat, parallel to the earth, gazing back, maintaining an open chest, lifting our chest to the sky. And once here, we have the option to bring our left foot off the earth. If we can continue to maintain a tall torso, opening through the chest. Calm, steady rhythm of breath. No competition. No judgment. Three more breaths. Then we release our foot, our hand, we come back to center, and we press back into all fours, giving a little wiggle on the way. We'll step into another down dog, and then into child's pose. Checking in with all the yummy sensations, noticing how the energy may have moved. We may have moved around some blockages, and celebrating that. Coming into child's pose. Reaching our arms long on the mat, sinking our hips back. And then exhale, let's round
Lowering our head, chin to chest, lifting our glutes off the legs, rounding into the spine. And sinking the hips back. Inhale, lifting the hips up, rounding into the spine. Exhale, sink back. One more just like that. Inhale, lifting the glutes off the calf muscles. Exhale back. Good. Wiggling that out, left to right, shifting. And checking in with the hip flexors, what they might be saying to us. Coming to stillness, lifting ourselves back into all fours on the inhale. Exhale, sighing it out. Next exhale, we'll lift ourselves back into down dog. Taking a deep breath here. Exhale, lifting the hips, pressing the heels towards the earth, letting the head hang heavy. Lifting our left leg off the earth again. Floating it high. Checking in with the back of the right leg. Perhaps we bend the left knee and we open the hips. Stacking the left knee on top of the hips. Gentle shift of our weight to the right side. Head continues to hang heavy. One more big breath. We float back to center. And once again, gazing forward, coming up on the toes of the right foot, we bring our left knee to our left wrist, pigeon pose. Staying high to start, and we float our right foot back along the mat. Inhale, lifting our chest high, pressing the earth away. Breathing into the lower back and the abdomen. And with each exhalation, we can melt forward over the left hip, over the left knee. Finding our block as desired, supporting ourselves along the way with our hands, our arms, our blocks, our fists, our hands. Being curious as to how we're feeling here today. What might our hips, lower backs, and knees be telling us? We're not just going from A to Z. We want to explore along the way. Again, there's no competition as to where we're at. And the only expectation is that we listen to our bodies. Keeping our hips nice and square. An option here, of course, is to extend our arms beyond the head and figure four the arms into a thread the needle, so the left arm would come above the head and the right arm would come underneath in a cross or a T. If we think that that might be accessible and yummy for the body, the right ear and side of the head can come to the mat. Noticing our calm, steady rhythm of breath. Noticing the peace that may be within us at this point in our practice. A sense of inner calm. And perhaps we've already started floating. On the next inhale, we'll bring ourselves back to center, up on the hands, pressing the earth away, lifting our chest,
Breathing into the lower back and the abdomen. For 3, for 2, last big breath. We release, coming over onto the left hip, back into all fours, shifting and wiggling, rinsing out as desired, intuitively listening to the body and letting it guide our movement. Coming back to stillness. Inhaling and exhaling, sighing it out through the mouth. Next exhale, we'll lift back into down dog. Deep breaths in. We exhale, lifting the hips, pressing the heels towards the earth. And lifting the right leg off the earth. Noticing the strength through the left side of the body. Calm, steady rhythm of breath. We have the option to bend our right knee and open the hips, stacking the right knee on top. Lightness in the right side of the body. Calm, steady rhythm of breath. Exploring each pose and the sensations of our bodies. And on the next inhale, we'll float back to center, gazing forward. Coming up on the toes of the left foot, and we'll bring our right knee to our right wrist, walking our hands out gently with full stability. Letting our hips lower to the earth, left foot flattens and draws the hips back. Inhale, we press the earth away, lifting our chest, lifting our gaze as possible. Breathing into the lower back and the abdomen, opening it up. 2 more big breaths. And with each exhalation, we can slowly melt forward. Noticing the sensations along the way, pausing at the bottom of each exhalation. There's no rush, there's no destination. Let's just enjoy the yummy sensations along the way. The curiosity, being explorers for the first time every time. And of course, if we feel like adding a dimension, we can extend our right arm over our heads and our left arm underneath, threading the needle, bringing our left ear to the mat, checking in with the right hip. If this does not feel accessible and it overextends our calm, steady rhythm of breath, we pull back. Noticing that the sensations may be different on each side of the body. We listen and honor them. Melting ourselves into the earth. Letting distractions float by. Two more breaths here.
next inhale, we'll bring ourselves back to center, pushing our hands into the earth, lifting our chests up, our gaze is up, opening the abdomen, opening the lower back. Beautiful. And releasing out of that, coming over onto our hip, up into all fours, we'll roll it out. Again, just listening to the body, letting it guide our movements. And we'll sink our glutes back into rock pose, kneeling, curling our toes under the shins, making sure all 5 of them are cooperating, and we lift our torsos up, rolling the shoulders up and back, and we'll eagle the arms. Left arm comes under right, rotating the palms inwards, and on the inhale, we'll lift the arms up. On the exhale, we lower. Inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale, we lower. Breathing space across the upper back. Perhaps even noticing some activation of the shoulders, or even behind the shoulders in the scapula. Adding that dimension of a yummy massage. Three more breaths here. And we release out of that on this last exhalation, coming into all fours, tapping out the tops of the feet. Surely this will feel yummy. Wiggling the feet if that feels good. And we'll come back up one more time into toes pose if you feel you've got the resilience to get through it, which I know you do. Making sure all 5 toes are pressed into the mat. We bring our torso nice and tall, rolling the shoulders up and back. This time the right arm comes under the left. Palms come together. And as we inhale, we lift the arms up. And we lower on the exhale. Gentle expressions on our faces. Calm, steady rhythm of breath through the nose. Yummy pauses at the top and bottom. Five more. Breathing through any discomfort, knowing how good it will feel by breathing into it. Noticing the changes and the transformations. And building on our breath work. One more big breath. Noticing the heat melting away from the toes. And we release out of that tapping out whatever is left of the energy that we've just moved through the feet. Wiggling, pointing, flexing, rolling. Oh, yummy. And we'll come back into our rock pose, rolling our shoulders up and back. Bringing our hands to heart center. Palms are pressing together. Gentle expressions on our faces. Taking a moment to check in with the mood and the energy of the body and how it may have changed from the beginning of our practice. Reflecting on any intention we may have set at the beginning of our practice, adjusting it gently, or perhaps setting a new one for the hours and days ahead. Remembering the sensations we created at the beginning of our practice, opening our hearts, allowing light to come in and light to shine out. And perhaps that can form part of our affirmation and our intention for the days ahead. As we enter into this next week, we listen with open hearts and minds. Bringing our awareness back to the space around us, the sounds, the smells, and the temperature. Giving thanks for the opportunity to move the energy, to create space in our minds and our bodies. We give thanks for the community and the opportunity to practice together. I wish you a beautiful continuation of your day, and thank you for joining me. Namaste.